Coach Mike Uremovich and the Cardinals look to fly in their conference debut. They welcome the reigning champion Bobcats.
Magwood jumps up and makes the catch, and Qian Magwood gives the Cardinals the lead. Ball State comes down with it, and that's the ball game.
A big-time victory for the Cardinals calls for a new episode of the Cardinal Kickoff. I'm Roen Elbert, that's Sam Klug, and Sam, you already know, such a big win for Ball State, 20-14 over Ohio. We have a lot to talk about.
We do indeed, and I can't understate it enough. Huge win for the Cardinals. We had to wait a little bit longer to talk about it. We were both on fall break over this Monday and Tuesday, but now we're back. We're ready to talk about some Ball State football.
Such a huge win, 20-14 the final score. What was your biggest takeaway from a game where Ball State it was the tale of two halves? Second half completely dominated the Bobcats.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is just the defense's ability to stay in the game. First half, they let up 14 points, 7 per quarter, which isn't all that bad for NCAA football defense. But they come out in the second half. They play extremely well. They don't allow any points in the second half. And they also get a huge safety there in the fourth quarter, which eventually led them to go on and win the football game.
And Sam, we can't talk about defense without talking about Nathan Voorhis. One of the best performances not only in the MAC this week, but really in the country as well. You're looking at 3.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss, 8 total tackles. Not only that, he leads the nation in sacks, not just the MAC, the nation. MAC Defensive Player of the Week for obvious reasons. I mean, what can't Nathan Voorhis do?
Yeah, talk about a senior that is going out on a high note. This guy came in from UConn, 1 year left to play, and he's putting his all out there on the field. He's playing with a lot of heart. He's a guy that the Cardinals are going to look to, especially later on in the season when they need those big-time stops late in the game. And like you said, walks away with 3.5 sacks. He was bullying that Ohio offensive line. They could not stop him. He was a big factor in that big safety they had in the fourth quarter, someone who's going to be definitely on the scouting report for future opponents.
Also, how about the energy he brought as well? I mean, some of those sack celebrations, oh man, I couldn't get enough of that.
I loved seeing them highlight that on social media, especially him getting that attention. Someone from a smaller school, it's cool to see, and like you said, those celebrations were hilarious. Not every teammate has the ability to be funny and really good at the game.
Oh yeah, again, he really checks all the boxes. And Nathan Voorhis, after the win against Ohio, he spoke to the media.
It's like I don't even feel like I'm out there. Like it's kind of something like a flow state almost. Not really thinking about what's going on. As long as you get the play from the sideline, you're just ready to go. It's kind of just what it was the whole game. It's cool, but honestly, like I came in at halftime, I'm just saying I want to win the game. Everybody was coming up to me, I just wanted to win. I said it early on in the season, like it's cool to have a good individual performance, but if there's no W in the column, then it doesn't mean anything. It was awesome. This means a lot. I know Coach U, even though he's not going to say it, I know it means a lot to him. He's never going to talk about himself, but just anybody would feel that way. It's his first, come up to the FBS level. It's his first in-conference game, and you won it. So I know that means something. I know it means something to the rest of the program. Ohio's a great team. They won the MAC last year. So we're coming in, they're the defending MAC champs, and we beat them at home. Like that means a lot to the program. It means a lot to players, coaches, everybody. It's awesome. These guys all bought in. Nobody's selfish. It's like if I make the play, I make the play. But I wanted Feeney to make the play. I wanted Michael to make plays. And that's how everybody is. Like everybody's gonna hype me up if I make my play, but they're gonna go to somebody else and they make the play too. So it's just a brotherhood. We all love each other, and we're just all trying to make plays for each other.
Great stuff from Nathan. Now, such a big win for Ball State's program. Their first win over Ohio. The reigning MAC champions since 2012. What does this win mean to the program?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, Coach U came in this year as a new head coach and has always said that if you want people to show up at your games, you need to win football games, and especially within the conference. It's a huge win over the defending MAC champion, Ohio, obviously. And an interesting note is that at the MAC championship, Miami was supposed to win that game. Ohio came in, got the job done. And in this game, Ohio was supposed to win. Nobody was really expecting this type of performance from the Cardinals, but they went in there with a lot of heart and took away the victory.
It just seems like, at least from my standpoint, just watching everyone else's opinions shift, the narrative has been shifted about the Ball State Cardinals, and we've seen it. We've seen what this team can do and what they're capable of, but I feel like now everyone else is really starting to see what this team really has the potential to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were down on the Cardinals, especially after those first 2 games, Purdue and Auburn, but you can't really take those into consideration, considering those are huge Power 5 opponents, teams that if you were to beat them, that would be almost like the biggest win in program history. And yeah, I think the opinions have shifted. They've started to play together more. I think the UConn game was a real turning point. They played extremely well near the end of that game, almost got the job done versus a team that is probably similar to their conference level. And Coach U has just, I think, prepared the players very well to play together at the conference level. They didn't bring in the flashy transfers that some other schools maybe did, but they're playing together as a team. And yeah, it's awesome to see the way he's turning around this program.
And for more on this huge win for Ball State, it's head coach Mike Uremovich.
Thought our guys played their butts off. Thought our defense played 4 quarters. Our offense kept plugging away. Nobody quit. We were losing. Guys kept battling against a really good football team. So I'm proud of them. We're excited we won a game. Haven't beat them since, I think, 2012. I found out in the locker room. But all that's great, and we'll celebrate it tonight, but it means nothing tomorrow. We got to get back to work and get ready for a really good Western Michigan team. So I'm excited for them, man. I'm really excited for them. They worked really hard, and I told them at halftime our offense played like in the first half, honestly, and our defense was just hanging in there, and nobody said a word. Nobody was doing anything negative. It was a 4-quarter game. We kept talking about it all week, and at halftime we talked about it. And at the end of the third period, the team came up, looked up the scoreboard, said, "Guys, we can win it in the fourth quarter," and they did that. So it was fun to watch. I think we settled down. We treated them like a triple option team because of what they do with the read zone and the quarterback run and the flat. And it's like playing Army or Navy if you ever coach against a service academy. No matter how much you practice it, until you go out there and see them doing it at full speed, yeah, you're running this angle as the DN, but you kind of have to adjust during the course of the game to how they do it. We try to simulate their scout teams as best we can, but obviously they do it a lot faster. The crowd was, I have my headset on the whole game with 2 of them because I don't want to hear anybody yelling at me, but I had to take it off at the end to get ready to call a defensive timeout, and some of those third downs I could hear the crowd was fun.
Back in the Betsy M. Ross SportsLink studios with more Cardinal Kickoff. Joining us in the studio, he was the pregame and the halftime host for Ball State's historic win over Ohio on SL Digital Radio. Dylan Budd, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I appreciate you guys having me on. That was a fun one on Saturday.
It really was, Dylan. What was your biggest takeaway from such a historic win for the Cardinals?
Well, we got to remember that Ball State didn't start out really well. Down 14-0 at halftime. They finally started to put things together at halftime on offense, but they were pretty stagnant to start the game. So the fact that they were able to be so resilient and come back in such a high-stakes game against the reigning MAC champions just shows how resilient and how battle-tested this team can be.
I can only imagine what that halftime locker room speech was from Coach Uremovich, considering this team has struggled on offense in the games they've played so far. Coming into this year, I think people definitely picked them as more of a defensive-minded team. So, yeah, like you said, resilient is a great word to put on it.
And the defense did a really great job for pretty much the entirety of the game. In the first half, the issue was just big plays. We would see them stopping 1-yard runs, 2-yard runs, incomplete passes, but then Ohio would rip off plays of 20, 30. There were a couple plays of 25 or more in the opening drive, and it was those big plays that really did them in the first half. Great adjustment by defensive coordinator Jeff Knowles to be able to reel this team in and bring them back.
It's funny because it really is the tale of 2 halves. Sam, I'm glad you brought up the potential halftime speech because I was wondering the same thing. What did Coach Uremovich tell these guys? Because it just looked like 2 completely different football teams were out there for Ball State on their end in both halves. It was a complete 180.
Yeah, and another thing to note is Ball State actually almost scored right before the halftime buzzer. They get down into the red zone. They get stopped on 4th down. Obviously, Ohio takes the knee, heads to halftime. And I got to feel if you're the offense, we're right on the cusp. We're right there. We put together a fantastic drive before halftime. And whatever Coach Yu said to his offense, his offensive line, maybe he said something to Kyle, it definitely flipped a switch.
I think it absolutely encapsulated how this team has been this season. I mean, tough losses against Purdue and Auburn in the opening weeks, able to win against New Hampshire, but then lose to UConn on the road in a close one. It's just taken them a little beat to figure it out. But once they figure it out and once they start getting things together, that's when we really see this team shine.
Dylan, we touched on it earlier. Nathan Voorhis. What a performance. Come on. 3.5 sacks. Ridiculous.
He led the team in total tackles with 8, 5 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks. He now is the national leader with 8. Obviously, clear winner for MAC Defensive Player of the Week, but I think we had seen little flashes from him in these consistent past few games in the non-conference schedule. I mean, a sack in, I believe, every one of them, but he really transitioned from just being a threat on the edge in that pass rush to becoming a true game wrecker in the MAC. It's such a privilege to have somebody like this on your team, and such a just tough night of sleep for the quarterback on the other team that's getting ready to face him on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, talk about a guy who, from a talent perspective, definitely could have gone to a Power 5 or 4, whatever you want to call it, school. Someone that can really just get the job done, wreck that offensive line like we saw on Saturday. And right now he sits, I believe, at 8 sacks. The Ball State record is 13 or 13.5, so he's definitely going for a single-season record. It's interesting to watch because, you know, this Ball State team is someone who they've kind of been down in the gutter a little bit these last few years. Finally on the come-up. It's something really cool to see.
Hey, Dylan, it was funny because when we were in the press box after the game ended, and we were both saying, yeah, MAC Defensive Player of the Week should be no conversation. Nathan Voorhis. It probably took them about 10 seconds to figure that out. But now going into next week, looking at Western Michigan, this is a good team. 2-0 in MAC play, 3-3 on the season. What are some bright spots about this Broncos team that really stands out to you?
Well, similar to Parker Navarro, Western Michigan has a dual-threat quarterback of their own in Brock Lowry. I mean, this sophomore is already leading the team in both passing and rushing, and we saw that in a similar case with Parker Navarro. What Ball State's going to have to do is similar to what they did with Navarro in the second half. When we talked at halftime, you had said he has to be contained either in the air or in the ground. He had both in the first half, neither in the second. So if Ball State can adjust or just come out the gate and stop Lowry immediately, that is the focal point of that Bronco offense and a key important factor to winning that game on Saturday.
I think the atmosphere this weekend is going to be second to none. Coach Hughes said it a little bit in his post-game press conference that I believe was on Monday to the press, and he said, obviously, he mentioned Western Michigan's homecoming. The crowds are going to be there. They have one of the better, I think, student sections and crowds in the MAC. And talk about two teams that have just been so resilient recently. Cardinals, obviously, take some early losses early in the season, 1-0 in the MAC, something they didn't expect, beating the defending champs. And Western Michigan, 3 straight wins, 2-0 in the MAC. It's going to be a fantastic Saturday in Kalamazoo.
Hey, you look at that upcoming schedule for Ball State. You got Western Michigan this week, and then next week it's homecoming against Akron, a Zips team that has really struggled the past couple of years. This is looking like it has the potential to be a really good stretch for the Cardinals.
I mean, if you win those 2 games, you're only 2 wins away from going bowling, something that the Cardinals haven't done since 2020, that COVID year. So like you said, it's definitely exciting to look at and maybe put some predictions in, put a ceiling or a floor on how many wins they get this year.
Dylan, thank you so much for joining us this week. It really was a pleasure.
It's been a lot of fun, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, and for more about the great win for Ball State against Ohio, how about the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown, Qian Magwood?
It was coming out of TV timeout. Coach called my number. Go make the play, man. Keep it simple. Like we talked earlier this week, just keep it simple, go make the play. That's called. I really I didn't think it was over. I don't know. I seen it still had time on the clock. I'm like, man, this is gonna end the game. Let's just wait till the clock hit zeros, and then I kind of let it out once we saw the fight song and everything. So it really was just just win the game still, even after I scored. Execution. I mean, we was really beating ourselves in the first half. It wasn't like we was getting stopped. You know what I mean? The plays were the plays. We didn't go out there and just go drop a miraculous play. It was the same plays. We just had to execute better, and I think that's what we did in the second half, and that's how we got the win. It's good to have a player coach like Coach U. Just for simple plays like that. I had the confidence to go make the play. He made the call, looked me in my eyes, told me go make it, and I know he got the utmost belief in me and my teammates. So, it's great. It's great.
Back in the BetCM Ross SportsLink studios with more Cardinal Kickoff. Now we move on to next week against Western Michigan. This is a really good MAC team, like Coach Uremovich highlighted earlier. 3-3 on the season, but 2-0 in MAC play, coming off a 21-3 win over UMass last week. And sure, UMass, they've struggled. They're 0-5, but still a big win for Western Michigan. What do you expect from this Broncos team against the Cardinals?
It's going to be a fantastic matchup this week in Kalamazoo. And like you said, 2-0 in MAC play. They're one of 4 undefeated MAC teams along with Ball State. So after this game, there could only be 3 or possibly even 2 undefeated MAC teams left in the conference. It's going to be an all-out war. It's going to be trench warfare up front with those offensive and defensive linemen. It's going to be a battle of the run game and possibly a little bit through the air. But like you said, one of the more premier matchups in the conference and versus a team that kind of had the Cardinals number last year at home on family weekend. Ball State was in that game for a long time, but Western came in through the end, and I believe they won by 10.
Yeah, that was a high-scoring matchup. I remember being there, and I wonder if we'll see more of the same this Saturday. Either way, it's going to be a fun matchup.
That's right, and even though there was a lot of roster turnover, I'm sure Coach U is preaching revenge, and maybe not revenge, but kind of their get-back. Take back kind of what they lost last year. And it's an important game. I mean, Ball State trying to get to 300, match their win total for last year. They had 3 last year. They're at 2 right now. And like you said, or like I was saying, get halfway, get to 500, and get to halfway to bowl bound as well. 6 wins gets you to a bowl. This would put them at 3. So a very important game for the Cardinals.
That's certainly a big goal for this Ball State team. And that's it for us. I'm Roen Elbert. That's Sam Klug. And this has been the Cardinal Kickoff for this week. Your Cardinals are in action this Saturday against Western Michigan, and we'll see you next week. The Cardinal Kickoff is a Ball State SportsLink production.